Well, my name is Emily Chase, and I wanted to share a little bit about how God is meeting me during the COVID time. When COVID, everything first started happening kind of in early mid March, I started getting really nervous. I think because I'm kind of a bit of a controller. I would like to call that a planner, but I know as God has been addressing it, that that's really not what's going on, that I really do um, think that I'm in control of my own life, and I'm not. And I'm an interior designer, and I work on the sales side of that. So my income is very dependent on whether or not people really sign on the dotted line. And mid March, I started to really notice that I was getting, a huge number of cancellations of appointments, and just people being uncomfortable with us entering their homes and that kind of thing to even, measure, get any data to start working with, and just having deals cancel or appointments for deals to close cancel because people were so nervous about the stock market. And, it really just became super nerve wracking for me because I was looking at things and thinking, we're not going to have an income here, pretty shortly. And just the wondering of how long is this going to last, and kind of waiting for the shoe to drop of when are we going to be, sheltered in place? When am I no longer even going to be able to work at all? And, as I'm looking at my to-do list, as we started to get sheltered in place, I was thinking, I only have, 2 days of work here. And there's just no way. And, as we were brought home for the shelter in place order, I was really grateful because God really has given me work every single day. I've been able to work full time really since the whole thing happened. But one of the things that was really sweet as a part of this is that I felt compelled to kind of make a list of things that I could do or keep busy with and that kind of thing during the quarantine period. And one of the things I wrote down was to read about 6 Psalms a day, because that would kind of take me through the book of Psalms during the amount of time that we were originally quarantined for. And that totally just met my heart, and it really caused me to have to address some things in my life and in my heart that were kind of going unaddressed to that point. I probably would have never said that I believed that I was my own provider, but functionally I must have, because I was looking at, what kind of opportunities did I have before me? And I had one really big deal that I thought, well, if I can just get that one wrapped up, then, we'll be fine in May. We'll have a paycheck in May. And, gratefully, God really addressed that in my heart. I was reading in Psalms, and I was just reading about, taking comfort in money instead of in the Lord, and letting that be where your security rests. And I felt like God really addressed my heart because he brought to mind this job that I was so counting on. And in that moment, I really felt like, okay, God is not going to allow this job to close. And he's right and wise to do that, because I need to believe him to be my provider and him alone as my provider. And I was at peace with that, because I just felt like that is what God needs to do in order for me to never forget that he is the provider. And so graciously, the Lord the very next day caused that person to call me and to say, we want to sign our contract. How is it that we would do that, while we're doing our quarantine? And I was blown away, that God would be so kind to allow that job to still be provision for us, even though I had really idolized it. And that in that moment of giving that to him and saying, it's okay that that job doesn't move forward. I trust you for our provision. Then he really caused that to come through. And so God has really just been addressing idolatry in my heart and causing me to be humbled by him and to see that he alone is my provider. And so glory to God for what he's doing in this really difficult season, because it is so teaching me about who he is.